Read this first. We are quickly going to go through how hash browns are cooked. You'll be able to make good hash browns on your first try. Then we're going to use what we learned to make hash browns as quickly as possible. We have two goals when we're making hash browns. Let's focus on the first one. At roughly 165 degrees Fahrenheit, the raw tasting molecules change shape and the potatoes taste cooked. Other molecules called starch also change shape at this temperature and stretch out, breaking cell walls, softening the interior. Potatoes with high amounts of starch make this process happen faster and more consistently. High or medium starch potatoes are usually called for. When starch exits the cell, it has a chance to stick to another starch molecule, which holds the two cells together. On a large scale, two shreds of potatoes can attach. This causes the interior of the hash brown to hold together. Some recipes add extra starch. They all roughly taste the same because starch has almost no taste, so pick whichever one you want. One problem is that water sticks to starch. Water prevents bonding to other starch molecules. Squeezing out water before cooking increases starch bonding. So why do some recipes drop the potato shreds in water first? Potatoes change to a dull brown when exposed to air. This browning is tasteless and not related to the delicious browning that happens when we fry the exterior. Can you tell which interior was left to brown from air exposure for 10 minutes? It's not a big difference. If you are a restaurant grating potatoes for 30 minutes, then soaking in water might be worth it. Another benefit of soaking potatoes, slightly easier to fry. Certain molecules burn easily when the frying temperature gets too hot. The water soak removes many of these high-risk molecules. Starch does not easily burn, so some recipes add starch to the outside of the hash brown for a more even brown color and lower risk of black burnt spots. Which brings us to goal number 2, a golden brown, crispy exterior. The golden brown deliciousness happens when you get molecules hot enough so they break apart. These smaller molecules then rearrange themselves into new molecules that taste and smell great. At higher temperatures, the molecules break apart at different places and produce black, burnt-tasting molecules. Good frying keeps the hash brown below this burning temperature. Usually, medium or medium-low heat is recommended. Plenty of oil also helps prevent the hash brown from getting too hot. It distributes lots of heat evenly, so certain sections don't get too hot. Air can't transfer enough heat, so heat gets concentrated in a few spots that are directly touching the pan. Burnt spots are the result. Butter also burns easily. First time recommendation, stick to canola oil, vegetable oil, or any other neutral oil. Crispiness is different than golden brown deliciousness. Crispiness is when starch molecules attach to each other with nearly no water nearby, so they form many more bonds. Since the golden brown temperature occurs when all the water is evaporated, the hash brown is crispy, at least at that moment. However, water always eventually moves to the center from the crispy bits and lowers the number of bonds. You still have the tasty brown molecules, but with sogginess. We can map out the length the water has to travel, and this correlates to time until sogging. Really thin shreds lose their structure and collapse when cooked, leading to short pathways and sogging. Thick shreds hold their shape, leading to longer pathways and crispiness. Thick shreds are ideal for crispiness. However, thick shreds need a long time to cook to remove all the water inside each shred, or the pathway is extremely short and the hash brown almost instantly sogs. Some recipes call for 15 minutes per side to fully remove the moisture from the thick shreds. Thick shreds also allow large holes that lets heat escape. This means you need to cook the interior longer before it can hold together. The plan for quick hash browns: thick shreds in the interior that won't collapse when we microwave them. Medium thickness shreds on the outside that can remove interior moisture fast and fry quickly. You will also notice that the outside layers are wider than the interior. This causes a longer water pathway and more crispiness. Bonus: Heating potatoes past 150 Fahrenheit stops the brown color from air exposure. The microwave makes this happen fast, so we won't have to worry about keeping the potatoes in water. A quirk of the microwave: having a cover evens out cooking without slowing moisture removal that much. Other time savers: russets tend to have skins you want to peel for hash browns. Picking a Yukon Gold or other medium starch potato saves peeling time. Since potatoes can reattach with heat, we can fry one side of the hash brown while the rest is in the microwave. They will reattach in a couple minutes in a hot skillet. Here is the recipe. Wash 3 medium-sized Yukon Gold potatoes or any medium or high-starch potato. Peel if you want. Grate half of each potato on the medium or large holes of a box grater. Leave half the shreds to the side. Take the other half and squeeze out as much water as you can with your hands. Optionally, mix in roughly half a tablespoon of cornstarch or regular flour. Lay down 4 piles of shreds in a cold nonstick pan. Remember, use only half the shreds. You need some for the other side. Make sure there are clear gaps between the piles. Sprinkle a little salt, half a second per piece. Make sure to add plenty of oil, enough so that there is a thin layer on the bottom. Place on 3 out of 10 heat, maybe 5 out of 10 if you have a weak stove. Cut the remaining potato chunks into strips, roughly 2 to 3 millimeters wide. No need to be precise. Make 4 piles of thick shreds on a microwave-safe plate. Preferably, they should be unorganized with lots of gaps. Place on cover and microwave for 3 minutes. Always keep an eye on frying potato shreds. If they're browned, remove from heat. After thick shreds are microwaved, slide on top of layer of frying potatoes. Make sure there is no water puddle in the plate that could hit the hot oil. Squeeze the remaining potato shreds to remove as much water as possible. Optionally, mix in another half tablespoon of cornstarch or regular flour. Spread on top of hash browns in a thin layer. Sprinkle with salt. Flip when bottom is brown. Add more oil if there is not a thin layer on each hash brown. Cook other side until golden brown. Remove from heat. And that's episode 286. Do you want to learn how a microwave works and how it can brown food? Want to learn how they grow new types of potatoes? Want an awesome video on probability? I created a YouTube playlist of awesome videos made by others. Follow the 286 more link to see it. And the next time you try the recipe, try this tip. Thin shreds can be used on the exterior if you press them with a fork and spread properly. Bonus tip: you can add spices to the interior and exterior separately to get very unique flavors. Garlic powder and paprika burn easily and are recommended only for the interior if this is your first time. Bonus tip: adding salt to the final pile of potato shreds will pull out even more moisture as they sit. Add a big pinch or 2 seconds of shaking the salt shaker, mix the salt into the shreds, and let sit until needed. No need to salt the shreds again when you put them on top of the hash browns. Done. Stove off, dishes clean, fridge and freezer completely closed, lights switched.